All right, everybody, this is the Man Therapy Podcast. His name is Kyle. My name is Dan. And Kyle, good week? Bad week? What's cracking over there?
Hey, there's a good setup.
Yeah.
I've had, you know what, my week could be worse, but it was also very stressful. My main sewer line backed up, and so it flooded my basement with sewage, and so that sucked. But we did everything it took to get it cleaned up, and then 1 week later it flooded again,
Oh, my
and
God.
that was a big pain in the ass. We did everything it took to get cleaned up, and the whole thing is especially bothersome because our basement flooded like 2 weeks ago, and we had just gotten like brand new white carpet. Everything is all like, I don't know why my wife chose light. I was saying dark. Let's not go with light carpet in the basement. But she wanted that, so it shows everything. And so now it's flooded twice. The first time it flooded, I had to it hurt my heart to rip up all this brand new carpet, and I had to tear out all the soaking wet pad. I mean, it was soaked. Like, he could just wring it out. It wasn't just damp. It was soaked, and it was dirty water. So ripped all that out, and that sucked. But then got everything cleaned up and dried out, and laid the carpet back down with no pad. I was like, God, this sucks. We just spent so much money to have all this done 2 years ago, and now it's just like ripped up new carpet with no pad under it. But like, okay, came to terms with that. And then a week later, it flooded again, and there was no padding to soak it up. So I came down to work on Tuesday mornings. I work from my home office on Tuesdays. And my first step on the basement carpet in the morning, splash.
Oh, Jesus.
What? Oh, no. I wish there would have been a camera on my face, because I'm sure my jaw just dropped. The first time our basement flooded 2 years ago, my stepson he like turned the shower handle, like the shower handle was like 20 years old, and he like turned it past where it should have been turned, and he screwed it off. So water just starts blasting out of the pipe, and he's like, oh God, don't know what to do. So he like covers it up, so all the water then is just like gushing back behind the wall, behind the tub. And so I ran and shut off the main, and then we called a plumber buddy of mine. He comes straight out. I help him do like work on all the pipes and stuff. He does everything important. I'm just running around like turning faucets on and off, and turning the main line on and off to make sure it's all good. In that process, I had left a faucet on in the utility sink in our laundry room, and there were wet towels covering up the drain in that sink. And my wife closed the door to the laundry room because she didn't want the plumber to see our laundry room. So there's a faucet that's open. The main line was turned off.
That's hilarious.
So we didn't hear it running. So when we turned the main line on, I had forgotten that I left that on. No, I didn't hear it running because the door was closed, and it was like running onto towels. And so then we're like, oh, cool, everything's fixed. Little did we know that sink was just running, but it was plugged up. Then we left. We went to this like dinosaur exhibit that was in town for kids, and we went and had a really nice night, and like, oh, thank goodness we dodged a bullet, and like there's a little bit of wetness on the carpet, but it's not too bad, and And we came home to like 2 inches of water in the basement. It had that sink just ran for like 3 or 4 hours.
Holy shit.
It was horrible, and I freaked out because I freaking hate water damage and water problems. So
Man.
I'm pretty like I don't know, that's a big trigger for me, having something big happen like that at home. I hate that shit.
Oh, dude.
It's very stressful.
The thing about it is, obviously the damage is bad, right? Nobody wants that damage. But the thing that really frustrates me the most is when you think your life is going really well, and your money issues are starting to level out, and you're in a really good spot.
So true.
And then, just like life comes up from behind you and just rakes you. Yeah. And you're just like, oh my God, a grand for this, a grand for that, $500 here. Next thing you know, you're like, it's just like, what? Like, I hope they don't ask what we're doing for vacation, or I hope they don't ask what, I got a 2021 truck, and I just got the oil changed in it, and it just kind of reminds me like it's just waiting, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like
right.
It's just waiting to have its first big issue.
Yeah.
And, having to take it in and having to spend $1,000 for, dude, that's what scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Are those moments. Everything's so expensive now. Your life's going good. You found out how to deal with the inflation and the cost of all the things.
Yeah.
But there's this underlying like evilness that is just waiting to come up from the ground and snatch you.
Oh, dude,
And
it's so
it's
true.
scary.
And obviously it's wise to, have savings and all the stuff and for sure. And we did our savings are very depleted, because I had to use a lot of it when I started my private practice. So I didn't have any clients for like 3 months, and then it finally started building up. But then also we had a house problem, where our deck was attached to our house wasn't attached correctly, and so the wood in the house was like rotting, and then there was like mold, because it just got wet and stayed wet for years. And I finally found it in the utility room. It's in a place that like no one ever goes, and insurance wouldn't cover it. It was like six grand or $6,500 just out of pocket. It's like, oh, there's just a big old chunk of the savings. It's just hard when, like, to your point, there aren't nothing's a $50 fix anymore. Nothing's it's every service calls $100 just for showing up, and then the fix is always hundreds or thousands of dollars. Like it's rough.
Right.
But so one thing I did want to say, and I'm gonna toot my own horn a little bit, and but I'll also do it with humility, because I think I need to encourage myself. The first time my basement flooded, I lost my shit. I was really pissed. Really mad that the whole thing happened. It was human error. We flooded our basement since I had turned that faucet on to like let air and water out of the system when I was working on the thing, and then my wife had closed the door, and then I forgot that it was open. Like, that didn't need to happen. So I was like livid. Now, I wasn't even livid at my wife. I was just livid that it happened.
Right.
And then such a pain in the ass. And so I really lost it. So stressed. And then when this one happened, I was mad. I was upset, but nowhere near last time. Like, I tried really hard. I was like, no, I'm going to be in control of my reaction to this. And so I hardcore just like dug deep and was like, no, Kyle, this is okay. This is just a problem. You can solve this. No matter how mad you get, the solution's going to be the same. So you may as well not torture yourself while you do it. And so I remained pretty darn cool, calm, and collected throughout the whole thing, dealt with the plumber, ripped up the brand new carpet, ripped out the pad, and I did all the things. I was like, no, this is okay. This just is what it is, man. And then was left with like this ugly carpet after it had been beautiful the day before. And then, so I was proud of myself for, got a little upset, but not too bad. And then it happened again. And then I'm sure I had the same like holy shit look on my face. But again, I got instantly, I was like, oh, and I was like, no, Kyle, don't get too upset about this. Like I'm a therapist, and, a thing that I keep in mind, like I try to remind myself pretty often, is that everything that I would say to a client, I need to say to myself, or I'm a total hypocrite. Anything I would say, like to control your emotions and to be in charge of your emotional reaction and be in charge of your behaviors and all of those things, I have to say, yeah, Kyle, like fucking put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
And so I had to like very purposefully, hardcore, be in control of my thoughts, be in control of my mood and my behaviors. And for that reason, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't. Yeah. And I really, it was very poignant in how much I could have made my life even more miserable by being a big baby about it. But since I fucking chin up, be a man, just do what you have to do. It went way better than it would have if I lost my shit and was a little kid about it.
Yeah, man, that's something that I don't know if it's because over the years, life has beaten me down to the point where I don't react to that kind of stuff anymore. Like, I had a neighbor boy got into my deep freeze, and he went to grab a popsicle, and the popsicle block or box blocked the door from shutting.
Yeah.
And I think I told you this, but I lost I had $2,000 in beef. I had 2 deer from deer hunting season in there.
Yeah.
And what was I supposed to do? Go yell at this kid and that made it better? No. Right? It's like, so I had some of the deer meat was still like partially frozen. And so I just drove around town handing it out to anybody who would answer their door, really, and
right.
Because you don't want to refreeze it after it thaws out, and I'm just like, you got to eat it this week,
Yeah.
So
yeah, right.
that would have been an opportunity to just like freak the fuck out, but I decided.
So true.
I'm just like, like, I don't know, the feeling of helplessness came over me. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, you skip angry and almost go to a depressed stage where you're just like, why me? Why now? Why this? Why did fate put this in front of me today? Did I need more problems to handle?
Right. Life thought I was getting a little uppity and needed to take me down.
Exactly. Oh, this Dan Johnson, what a cocky son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's got a little spring in his step today. Yeah. What can we do?
That's funny.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those types of events, like, that cost me $1,800 roughly because of the beef that we paid for and then didn't eat. Right.
Yeah.
But outside of that, just, man, and it's usually money. Like, if I can fix it myself, if something breaks and I can fix it myself, like, here's a perfect example. Last night, it was purely an accident. We've been through like 5 iPads in our house. Right? Whether it's just kids throwing them or stepping on them or not treating them well. Well, last night, the dog started barking and my daughter rolled over and went to go push the dog off the bed, and she rolled over and put her elbow on the iPad, cracking the screen again. And she came up at like 1 a.m. and she's like, Dad, I just want to let you know this happened. And I didn't even care about it. Like, I'm just like, I was already past it. Like, I don't even, we shouldn't even have an iPad anymore. All you guys do is fight about it. One less thing, like, I got to deal with. Right. So,
yeah. Amen. Yeah. Oh man. And actually, aren't you supposed to say your state champion wrestler daughter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did we didn't record last week?
No, dude. And I missed you too, actually. I was bummed that we couldn't record.
Yeah.
I had to like move clients around since I had to cancel people on Tuesday when the plumbing issue happened. So I had to see him on Friday, so I couldn't see you. So, dude, freaking congratulations to your daughter. Holy shit.
Yeah. She
what
was
a badass.
Yeah, it was I'll tell you this. I'm proud of her that she won. Don't get me wrong. She's the title of a state champion is a rare title to accumulate.
Yeah.
But what I was the most proud of this year compared to the previous year was that she wanted it. Like, and I kept reminding her, like, I was her biggest hype man when other people were not. I was like, hey, listen, I look at you and I don't know when or how, but in your future, you're going to be a state wrestling champion. And I kept repeating that over and over and over to her.
Yeah.
And I think what it did was it went from, can I be a state champion, to I am a state champion, before, like, I have everything I need to be a state champion. Right. And so it was awesome this year because she, like, the previous year, she's like, I don't want to go to practice today. I don't want to. She didn't say that this year. She went to her practices. She worked hard. She did things above and beyond what most, 12 and 13-year-olds do to get better. She committed herself, and the result was this. And I think the cool part about that is now she sees the hard work translate into something else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And now she understands, well, if I work harder this year, I could be state champion again. You know what I mean? Like, but, and I tell her, I go, wrestling is probably one of the only sports, the better you get, the harder it gets. The harder everything gets. Like now we're probably next year not going to go wrestle at some of these smaller town tournaments. We're going to have to travel to these national tournaments now so you can get real competition. So it's you against the world, basically, at this point, right? It's not, one excellent wrestler shows up and wrestles for a total of 30 seconds for the whole day. We want pressure on her to make her into a diamond, and that's
absolutely.
So,
I was just so excited for you guys.
Yeah, so I want to get your opinion on something real quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, and this is kind of in regards to that. This year, actually, right now, the state of Iowa and states like, I believe, Tennessee, Minnesota, Kentucky, other states, Florida, I believe, they are all 8th graders are allowed, if they're good enough, right? You still have to be good enough. If you're good enough to participate in varsity sports. Okay.
8th graders in varsity.
Yep. Iowa is in the process of, the law it has been passed by the House of Representatives. It has, 2 days ago, it passed a subcommittee where it would be, and then it got passed to another subcommittee. And I believe if it passes this current subcommittee, it can be up for a vote for the Iowa the legislative session that is currently in, where there's a potential that they're going to vote on this, and 8th graders will be allowed to participate in varsity sports, based off the rule. Now, how do I put this? The school board, the school district has to approve it. The school has to approve it. And so that's kind of where we're sitting. We're in this potential timeline, and my daughter is getting ready to go into 8th grade. And I think she's good enough, especially after this summer of wrestling and training and stuff. There's a chance that I don't know. Here's what, the road isn't there yet, but I want to prepare her for as if the road is there for her to walk, if she wants to walk it. And so I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on like what you think about putting kids in a scenario like that, if they're ready, like bumping them up and doing something crazy like that.
Yeah, so I think ready kind of depends on the criteria you would define readiness. Maybe they're physically ready, and then that'd be like are they physically and mentally ready? I think the pros of it are pretty obvious, that that kid could develop faster. They could go against better competition. They could get more exposure if they're trying to go to college. They won't be held back by their age group. Like all of that's cool. The things that worry me, I guess, might worry me less with wrestling, since it's one-on-one and they're by weight class. But a con in a lot of sports is an 8th grader playing a varsity sport is going to be developmentally much is behind, smaller, but in wrestling that's kind of alleviated because there's weight classes and whatnot. One thing that's rough about it is even a mature 8th grader, a mature 8th grader might be pretty different from a mature 11th grader. Emotionally, that's a pretty big jump to going from being a big fish in a little pond to a little fish in a big pond.
Right.
Maybe the main thing that I worry about though is the idea of the 8th grader missing out on being a leader on their own team. They've done all this work and they could be they could have earned the position of being the leader and people looking up to them, and they're just going to go be a small fry on the varsity team, so to speak. I feel like a lot of kids that got moved up were robbed of years of playing with their friends, basically. and you move up a really good football player, and he doesn't get to play football with the guys that the guys in his class, a really good basketball player. Same thing. He gets bumped up to varsity and like plays some minutes, but would have been a star on his, 8th grade or, ninth grade team. It's hard because you can't predict the future. It's like, will this be awesome for this kid? Or, what if the kid doesn't end up going to college and they just ended up sacrificing all those years that they could have played with their peers?
Yeah.
I would want the decision to come from the student. Like, I want this. I think I would be pretty okay with it if the student's like, yes, that's what I want. I want to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would be less okay with it if it's the parent going, come on, you should do this. This would be really good for you. Da 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 da. Because there is some stuff the kid's sacrificing, and it's all the time with the peers that they've been training with all these years and spending all this fun time with their friends. I ran track and played football in high school, and the funnest part of all of it for me was being with my friends.
Yeah.
It would have been, I've seen the young underclassmen get moved up. A lot of times they're not very well received. The older classmen don't like them. They're seen as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts an upperclassman's feelings to have a lower classman take their spot. But I'm not super against that. I just recognize that it's not that fun of there's a lot of times it's not that fun of a position for the younger kid getting moved up.
Yeah.
It's also really sad. I see it in sports like baseball all the time where they'll move some lower classmen up and they just sit on the bench. Like they could have been getting tons of reps if they would have stayed on their.
I've seen that in baseball.
Yeah, baseball is notorious for it. It happens in basketball too. Happens less, but some in football. But I think baseball is notorious. Oh, let's bring this awesome 8th grader up. Let's bring this awesome freshman up. And they sit on the bench. It's like, dude, that kid could have had a whole season in 8th grade or freshman year, and they didn't get to because they're so good. They practice with the varsity, but then they didn't play at all. Like, I don't like that garbage. So I guess if the kid's like, I want this, then I'd say, all right, here, let's talk about what it's going to mean, what you're going to get and what you're not going to get.
Yeah.
And if the kid still wants to do it, then cool. But I don't like when the parent's the one that's choosing it for the kid.
Right. Right. And I don't want to choose it for my daughter. I want to be prepared if it is, and it is something she wants. So because it's so up in the air right now, like the training that we're going to be doing this off season isn't necessarily just to get her ready if that rule changes. It's going to get her ready for this next year anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
it's a little different in what we're talking about.
Yeah. But again, it's not like an 8th grader, a stud 8th grade football player going up against, like, let's say the stud 8th grader is 140 pounds, right? And he's a running back and he can juke the shit out of anybody. And he's going to go up against it. Like, dude, there's a guy on our high school football team who's 6'8", 300 pounds.
Right.
You've seen that guy? He's the guard or tackle on the O line.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he's like the heavyweight of the wrestling club, dude.
Yeah. He's a wall.
Dude, I'm afraid of him. Walking next to him. Yeah, and so, and so it's just crazy. Like, I get that. That's a different kind of full contact where someone could get really hurt if you got a kid going. Like, agility is one thing, strength is something complete, and momentum and size are two completely different things. Yeah. But when, like, for wrestling, when you boil it down to the same weights, then you're a little bit better in that too.
Yeah, so safer. I totally agree with that.
A little bit safer. So that's just something that I'm thinking about, and I'm trying to just like open if it is there, I want to have her ready in case it is something she wants to do. If she says, you know what, I just want to do another year of club team, but this would be, she could potentially go back and wrestle 8th grade club team and potentially be another state champion, be a state champion again.
Yeah.
However, how badass would it be in North Dakota? There's been a girl who's won it 7th and 8th grade year state champion in South Dakota or North Dakota, one of those two Dakotas.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a 7th grader and beat 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So a 5-year spread.
Wow.
And she's a champion.
She was beating. Wait, so
she's a 7th grader.
Yeah,
and she
beat seniors.
She was beating everybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're like I guess I don't know exactly how it all works. Was your daughter, what grade is she in?
She's currently a 7th grader.
She's a 7th grader. And so was she wrestling only other 7th graders?
No, she beat 8th graders, and it was 7th and 8th graders.
7th and 8th graders, okay.
This year at the state tournament. So her pool was 7th and 8th.
That's what I was wondering. Okay, so now, then and next year it'll be 7th and 8th also.
Yeah.
And then after that, it'll be, unless this law gets passed, then after that, she'll be a 9th grader.
Freshman.
And the 9th grader is 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Right.
Right? Okay. Wow.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that, like in Iowa, 8th graders can already play on varsity. So for baseball and softball.
Mm-hmm.
Just not other sports, not in season, like in school year sports. Not sure why that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's something that we're just going to try to get better at. It's crazy to see her maturity as she gets older, the maturity level change as far as maybe when she loses a close match or when she, like her training regimen or having to go to practices and how hard getting to see how hard she works in those as well. Yeah. And so it's crazy it's pretty cool to see I mean, she's 13 now, dude. She's becoming like a young lady and getting to see that is pretty cool. You know, she's got her own personality, but getting her to see her change into someone that me and my wife has helped raise, and like she's a good person, and that's pretty awesome to see.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
very cool. She's a great kid. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always enjoyed being around her.
Yeah. All right, so switching topics now.
Mm-hmm.
I had a scenario play out this morning before we came up here and started recording. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. As men, we probably have our own insecurities about certain things, whether it's about our intelligence level or the way we speak or the way we look or act or something like that. I'm sure we have. But for some reason, women do it way more than men. And I don't know if it's a culture thing or what the deal is. But I will say that I'm basing this 100% off looks at this point. Okay.
Okay.
And just stop me if I go too far. But your wife is attractive.
Thank you.
I mean that with all due respect.
Yeah. Agreed.
My wife is attractive. Right.
Agreed. Respectfully.
Okay. Respectfully. Right. That'd be funny if you were like, God damn, dude. Yeah. Like, she fine as fuck, dog. Well, slow down, partner.
Take a breath, bud.
But this morning, and I don't know what it is, and it is actually one of my biggest pet peeves. We had when I had a boat, I got to hear it all the time for some reason when girls were in their bathing suits.
Yeah.
But this negative talk about how they view themselves and how they look and how they're aging, dude, I hate it. And there's nothing that I can say, right? Like this morning, my wife was like, "Oh, I'm looking really thick today. Like I'm not looking good. I'm not feeling good. I'm just like, what planet do you live on? Have you been to Target lately and seen all the other people your age? Have you gone out in public? You are a 1%er as far as her physical fitness is concerned, right? And things like that. And still, she is completely unhappy with, I'm not saying all the time, but like those comments. And then that just fires me up because I obviously come back with, are you out of your mind? You're perfect for me. I love everything about you. Like you're gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it just, she's, they say it, and it frustrates the shit out of me because they're putting themselves down. No one else is doing it or saying, "Oh God, your wife's a gorgile or gargoyle."
Right.
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 Nobody's saying that except them. And
Right.
so I want to know if you go through that at all, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah. Yeah. You mean like if I go through that with my wife, like
Yeah. Like
beating
when
myself
she
up?
has negative talk about herself, whether it's about her looks or like the way she thinks or her
Yeah.
intelligence level or things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I do some. Let me think for a second. Um, I don't try to save the world, so to speak, when that
Mm-hmm.
type of talk comes up. I basically, I think I feel like I've realized that all I can do is pretty much what you did, but basically say, I think you're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
I can't convince her otherwise. I think there's a lot of social programming that happens for women. I think women are so intensely marketed to, and always have been, that they've by this point internalized these standards of beauty that are impossible. So they're holding themselves up to an impossible standard, and I think that's been done on purpose,
Yeah.
because it's to those companies' benefit to mm,
Sell products.
yeah, sell
Yeah.
products, like, yeah, so like, yeah, so I think that women are really set up to fail in
Yeah.
that way, and then I think it's kind of up to each person how much they buy into it or not. Um, I think it's I don't think my wife does it hardcore, but she definitely does it some. I do it too, so I'm not saying like she's weak or anything. Like, I think it's just a thing that we all do, but I don't think it's something I can save her from. Whenever she makes any negative self comments or have self judgment, I basically just say, well, I think you're awesome, I think you're beautiful, I
Mm-hmm.
think you're gorgeous, I want you, da 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 da, and fully recognizing that probably doesn't even, like, there's a chance that doesn't even mean all that much
Yeah.
coming from me, because I'm supposed to think that way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that is the thing that cracks me up about marriages, is that a lot of times the person's partner has like the least effect on the
Yeah.
worst position to help them emotionally. Um, hey, it's almost like that's just like a personal battle of theirs to
Yeah.
fight, and all I can do is speak my truth, which is,
Yeah.
it's sad to me that you say that. I think you're gorgeous. Da 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 da. I
Yeah.
try not to get into it too much, to be honest with you.
Yeah. One thing, I don't know. It's just for some reason for me, it's a huge pet peeve, and it's
Yeah.
not just with my wife. Like I told you when I had a boat. Um, my wife has an August birthday, so on one of her birthday parties, we had a boat party, and I took like 15 or maybe 10 women, all had kids, all were in their late 30s to mid to late 40s out on this boat, and they almost all of them said something negative about themselves. And I'm sitting here going, dude, like these women, and they're all girls that go to the gym,
Yeah, you read my mind. Yeah.
yeah, that group of girls.
Yeah.
And I'm in my head going, are you guys fucking retarded? Like that. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but that's what I was going on in my mind. And I got to a point where at one point I said, we can't talk like that anymore. I'm getting pissed. And I was serious about it.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know why this is, and maybe it's because of where I'm at in my life. And obviously you see some gorgeous 30-year-old, like 20-year-olds don't even do it for me anymore, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I look at like a beautiful unmarried 30-year-old, maybe late 20s. I don't know. And you go, that's gorgeous, right? Beautiful girl.
Yeah.
But for me, like, there's nothing in my, like, that I look, if you're going to look for empowering and you're going to look for gorgeous, like, it's almost like a badge of honor to carry around a little bit more weight when you've had 3 kids. Like, dude, I think that shit is sexy as shit.
Right.
And all of that, like being a mother. and being in a relationship and being married and committed and those types of things. That shit is sexy, dude.
Right.
And so I just get extremely frustrated when I hear women talk trash about themselves, right? Especially beautiful women who have their life somewhat together. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's a
Yeah,
pet
no,
peeve.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I think that I do think it's worth saying something. Like I think it's cool that you spoke up, so because you were able to interrupt that that pattern that was happening, that cycle that was happening there. I actually do think like that's just about the only power we have is to speak up to interrupt the cycle when they're doing that to themselves. And I hope they would do that for us too. If I'm ever bashing myself, like I'm not the happiest with my body. I think I don't like I don't base my confidence completely around it. But also guys are judged differently than girls too. So I think that they're just up against so much when it comes to social programming.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, it is rough. And I do feel bad for how that is. They sit there and they scroll and they judge themselves about every plastic piece of plastic that's put into a woman and like, oh, she's so pretty. Yeah, she's so pretty, but she's had like 80K worth of work done to her body. My favorite is this. My wife follows a couple of these girls who've gone through transformations. Like, like at one point they show the first picture of themselves. It's like post kid, they've had the baby weight on, and then they go through this transformation. And really the only thing that they've done is had some kind of face lift, or not sure what the term is. And they got a boob job. And it's like, oh, look at this girl now. I'm like, are you stupid? Like that's what in my head, I go, are you stupid? The only thing this girl got done to herself to make herself better was a boob job. I'm sure she didn't do any workouts like what you're doing. I'm sure she's just like taking all the bad shortcuts for physical fitness. And I don't know, man. It's just, it's, anyway, it's frustrating. I could talk
it is.
to it about
I totally agree. I hate it. I hate it. It makes me sick.
What would happen if we started it?
What?
I was going to say, what would happen if we started agreeing with them? Oh God, I look horrible today.
Know. Oh, you know you.
I'm glad you said something because I was trying to find a way to figure this out, but I'm glad you brought it up. Yep.
Never. No. Yep. Well, because I'm with you. Like I just I don't need my wife's body to change at all.
No,
like she's had 4 kids. Her body is what it is, and dude, all I want her to do is take her clothes off. I don't need her to change.
Come to daddy.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, she could complain about this or that. I'm like, I don't care. Just take it all off. Get over here.
Yep.
Yeah. I want you. I don't need some different weird version of you. If you like, if the healthier you want to be, the more I fully support you in that. Yeah. And every step of the way, take your clothes off and get over here.
Yeah.
That's my answer to that riddle.
Dude, I wonder if that's like, because ultimately isn't that what men want more of, is like respect? Like, let's not get it twisted. In a relationship like where we're in, where we've put in over, like you guys have been married 10 years now, right? Yeah. And we've been married over 10 years. And so, at the end of the day, yes, men want respect, and they don't want to have to deal with all these problems, that may arise that are like superficial from the outside. Like at the end of the day, making love to your husband is probably the thing that would make your husband the happiest. Like, and if you want to truly do something for your husband, make love to him as many times as humanly possible in a week or a month. And you're going to get a guy who is extremely happy and willing to bend over backwards for you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's guys out there who do that anyway.
Yeah.
Right. They do that anyway for their spouse. And I get it. You can't, like, especially when you have kids in the house, you can't just be love making all day, every day.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, if I had more of that in my life, I'd be a happier person. I'll tell you that right now.
I would love to like look out my window one day this summer and just see you literally just skipping by. Like, did Dan just skip by my house?
What's he doing?
Yeah, what's up with Dan this week?
Yeah.
Dan skipped by my house 3 times this week.
Yeah, my wife's driving a new car, like all.
Yeah. I think generally speaking, you're correct. I think there are some shitbag guys out there that would ruin the whole thing for everybody. But I do think that, like, generally speaking, the average good guy that like truly loves his wife in a healthy relationship, healthy marriage, that if they had more sex, he would probably be way happier.
Yeah. It's not rocket science, dude. It's not rocket science.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that becomes one of the biggest, hottest topics in a marriage. I mean, we talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah, so, it's true. I saw some wife was talking to a friend. There's 2 women talking, and the one is like, wow, like, look at all these cool projects you've got done around your house. Like, your place is really, really nice. And she goes, I never say no to him, and he never says no to me.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm there for every need that he has. And then he just wants to do everything for me. It's like, then you're not just begrudging, like, cool, I'll just do everything you want and I don't get much of what I want at all. That's a fun deal.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, like, I can remember a couple years ago on social media, there was, well, it comes cyclical, right? Like, there's waves of certain things that come and then they disappear for a little bit and then they come back again. And I can remember the one where it's like, you know, what really turns me on is a clean house. Right. And then for like one whole month, I kept the house spotless.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. It didn't change.
Yeah. I can remember I was frustrated that she said that. We were at some like gathering at a restaurant with her friends and all their husbands. And she was like, yeah, a clean house turns me on. And I just out loud said, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, right.
And everybody kind of got a little bit of laugh out of it, right? But I was serious as shit, dog.
No, that's right. I'm calling bullshit on this.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, that might be true for some. That might be true for some women, but I also think that it happens often that the guy ends up bending over backwards and doing absolutely everything he can, and stuff, and still nothing changes because that wasn't really the issue to begin with. But and also I feel like we should just say it's not always the guy that wants it more than the girl. It is true that the girl wants it more than the guy sometimes, and that's a stressful situation too. But we're just talking from our perspective here, so we can't. We can't cover every single outcome there is.
Right. Okay. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I had I'm obviously not gonna say names, but there is a person that me and my wife know who has vocally vented. No, 2 of them actually vocally vented to me. One of them got intoxicated. The other one at a lunch date told my wife about how their husbands are not interested in that.
Yeah.
And that is the same. I like, and this is a joke, obviously, but if Jesus came down from the clouds today, I am more shocked by those 2 comments than Jesus coming down out of the clouds today. Like a man not wanting to have sex with a beautiful woman. I don't know, like, it blows my mind. And how do you, like, is it just so much that they can't, they're sick of it? Or is there something else going on that in them that it's so obscure to me, I can't even relate to it.
Right. Yeah. And that's fair. And also it's highly likely that it's like something biological going on with them, or something medical or physical. You know, there could be low testosterone, or could be high stress, could be a number of reasons why that might happen to a guy. And the guy, you know, like I think everybody responds to that sort of thing differently, because it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if the guy was like frustrated by that too. Like, I don't know why I don't have a sex drive. This, I would guess that he'd be like, this feels crazy to me too. I also recognize that, like, there's humans a human occupies every part of the spectrum. So there are guys out there that have never had that high of a sex drive or much of a sex drive at all, and that's their normal. Like for those wives, like it would make me wonder, like, did something change? Like, did they used to have a higher sex drive and now they don't, and now the wife's going like, oh shit, like this is a change. And then I would wonder why, and I would wonder what the husband thought of it, and if the husband was like, yeah, this is just me now, so eat shit. Or if the husband's like, yeah, this is weird, I don't know why I don't have a sex drive, like let me figure this out. Or if the husband's like, I don't have a sex drive, but I recognize that you still do, and so I'm still willing to participate in sexual things with you because I know that it's still a need of yours. Or if he's like, yeah, I just don't, so you now don't get it for the rest of your life either. Like, I don't know, it just depends on how everybody deals with it. Maybe he's like, if you'd keep the house cleaner, I'd want to fuck you. That's probably too flippant, but
yeah, you want some of this D? Why don't you go get into the kitchen and make me a sandwich, right?
Yeah, he wants you to start with the dishes.
Dishes, yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, just like the wife being like, oh, you want some of this V? Why don't you start with the vacuum?
Vacuuming. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Vacuuming. It doesn't work. It doesn't. I'd probably, if I got it every day, I'd probably build a brand new house.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Brand new. And I would be like, I can't do electrical, but I'll learn. I'll go to college for it.
Oh yeah,
right
dude.
now.
I'm like, I've already enrolled in community college classes. Yeah.
Another thing that I see, and I think is really dangerous, to be honest with you, is
exposed wiring.
Well, that too.
Yeah, dude.
I've been shocked before, but I'm talking about like scrolling on social media.
Yeah.
And being influenced by a pretty girl trying to sell you, or the conversation trying to sell you like erectile dysfunction pills or something like that. And it's like, and I get it if that is actually what is the reason for a man. Like, first thing I would say is, as someone who has been on testosterone before, if you're feeling a certain way, go get your blood checked by a doctor. Okay. Right. That's first and foremost. And then that's where you start. That's the baseline. But from the pills, right, or the testosterone, if it is in fact like your wife wants to have sex with you, and because of low testosterone or ED, you can't do it, so you need to get a medicine to help you perform that way, then yes, that's a potential answer for you. Mm-hmm. However, the marketing is always the woman saying that the satisfaction has changed. But my gut tells me that if I started taking like ED pills and got back on testosterone and stuff, that doesn't change my wife's physiological makeup. Yeah, right. Which my gut tells me is, I'm just going to be very conservative here and say 75%, if not higher, of the issues in a marriage are not the man, but the woman wanting to be intimate. Like, ultimately, the woman is the key holder and the gatekeeper to the sex in a marriage.
Without knowing what the data is,
exactly. Yeah,
I'd say probably could be. Yeah. I'm sure that our experiences are biased by being men and mostly hearing from other men these issues. I don't know what, it'd be interesting to talk to our wives. Like, maybe I will ask my wife today, like, do you hear your friends talk about like their romantic relationships? And then that's even like it's tricky, because just because somebody's not hearing about it doesn't mean that it's not happening, because some people are more open than others. Some people like have issues if they just keep to themselves. So I don't know how prevalent it is the other way. It seems to me, and this obviously is probably biased, but it does seem to me that it's more common that it's the man that wants it more. The woman's the one that, as she gets older, shuts down. I fully recognize that doesn't happen like that 100% of the time.
There's outliers for everything.
Yeah, and there's women in their 40s and 50s that still have strong sex drives. So like, I'm definitely not saying that there aren't. I would guess though that's rarer than a woman that like starts to lose their sex drive.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
also I think that none of us probably get enough education about what happens to all of our bodies, but probably especially women's bodies
100%.
as we age naturally, and like what's normal and what happens during perimenopause, and
Mm-hmm.
how does stress really affect all of those things. Like I think that a lot of deeper problems get glossed over because they're not understood, and instead we label things as like, well, you just don't want to, like
Exactly.
you're just not trying, this
100%.
isn't important to you.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's
Yeah.
probably something that's actually some biological thing that's happening that she might not understand herself, or he might not understand himself.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
think we
And
need to be careful about the personal attacks. Like if you
100%.
you know, if you found me attractive, you would da da da. If you loved me, you would da da da. If you cared, you would da da da. If you loved, because the person that's experiencing the low sex drive might be like, I don't fucking know either.
Yeah.
I used
And
to when I was 30, I wanted it. When I'm 45, I don't. So I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. And I think it's, especially in our age range, right? I think it's 100% fair to do research, right? Like to go in and start blaming one person
Yeah.
for saying, well, geez, like, why don't you have sex with me? Why aren't you being romantic with me? Why don't you like to be touched anymore, or whatever like that?
Yeah.
Go do some research yourself before you start thinking you know what a woman's body's like,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't.
Yeah.
Right? You don't think, you don't act, you don't feel, you don't have a menstruation cycle, you don't do any of that.
Uh-huh.
Right? So how the hell would you even know how she's feeling?
Yeah.
So one thing that I've done is I know she's going through that perimenopause stage in her
Yeah.
life, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to do a little bit of research at a time
Yeah.
to figure it all out. Like, not figure it out, but help
Understand.
me.
Yeah. Start to
Yeah,
understand.
understand.
Educate yourself.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of like a form of communication, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had never even heard the word perimenopause until the past, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yep.
Like I had heard of menopause when I was a younger guy, but I'd never heard of perimenopause. How's that not common knowledge? Like it's a
Exactly.
thing that like every woman that gets to that age experiences. How are we in the year 2026? How do we not? How is that not just normal common knowledge?
Yeah. That and the fact
Ridiculous.
that, man, I've mentioned this before. I'm going to be an open book with my children. And when it comes time for my sons to hopefully get married and have kids and make me a grandpa and go through the same shit that I feel it is my responsibility as someone who's gone through life to help them. I can't put training wheels on their life and coddle them the whole time, but when they're frustrated, like, about certain parts of their life, I can be there to be like, dude, I've been through this. I had a guy reach out to me a while back through Instagram, and I made some kind of comments about, like, well, it's not the same. Like, life is not the same now than it was. And he, being in his 50s, responded back to me. He said, it gets better. Like, everything gets better if you just ride this portion out of your life. And I think that's frustrating for a lot of people, because the most stressful time in a person's life, according to the studies that I've read, are in their 40s while they're raising their kids. And once they're out of the house, it becomes a little less stressful. But we're in the thick of it right now, for career, for kids, for aging, for health issues, and finances, and it's thick right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I totally agree. I think we've probably covered some of this before, but like unless you're in like an abusive relationship, I think like my oath, my vows mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
Like I really meant it when I married my wife and said I'm going to be with you forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so like any rough patches that we hit, even if they last for years, like I'm here for it. I'm not trying to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to leave her. I'm not going to leave my kids. Now, if she was like a freaking alcoholic, drug addict that like abused the kids and stuff, like, okay, there could be exceptions made. But if it's like, hey, life has changed and desires have changed and stress levels have gone up, and it's like, hey, we're in this together.
Yeah.
We knew what we were getting into. And, I think it was Alex Hormozy said, you knew it was going to be hard. You said you knew it was going to be hard. Like, this is what hard feels like.
Yeah.
Like, this is not
I
time to
like
bear.
that quote.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
like that quote.
Yep.
And as we all know in life, it's not easy, dude. Like being a father, being a husband, owning your own business, or just going to a job and living life and dealing with finances and trying to make it all work is hard, man. It is hard. And I had to have a reminder of some of that earlier this week, and where someone, I was bitching about something to somebody, and it wasn't like really complaining. It was like kind of like the fake complaining that people do sometimes. There's like, yeah, well, prices of everything are going up.
Yeah.
And in my head, something popped up and goes, dude, you have air conditioning.
Yeah, right.
You have running water.
A hot shower.
Yeah. Do you think they have Netflix in Africa? You know what I mean? Like, there's places in this world, and I was born in the United States. We have the comforts of the United States, right? But you go to a majority of any other country in the world, even in Europe, they don't have air conditioning. Finding clean running water is sometimes difficult. Where you're going to find your food is sometimes difficult, right? Like, we're not raising crops and hogs in our backyard, or,
right.
if they die, it's going to affect us. Like, there's perspective, I feel, that can humble a lot of people if you just let it. And then you can realize, holy shit, my life is not as bad as I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Also, there are lots of parts of Africa that are just as developed as here, but there's lots of parts that aren't.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, in general, you look outside of the United States.
We take for granted how good we have it.
Yeah.
Is what you're getting at, generally speaking. Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I also think that there's a chance that we've over comforted ourselves, that we've poisoned ourselves with comfort, that there's a chance that we'd be happy if we didn't have, if things weren't we could be happier if things weren't as easy as they are.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually a book. I'm going to see if I can't pull it up. See, basically it has to do with how the United States has had so much comfort and so much catering through technology and other things, that when it's almost like the movie WALL-E. Have you ever seen the movie WALL-E? The Disney WALL-E? It's like that. Like, everything is taken care of for us now. Yes, we have to go to work and we have to earn money to buy goods and services, but all of that is ruining us, basically. It's making us not be able to deal with high pressure situations. Our health is declining. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's where I think they're,
the comfort crisis. I found it. Sorry to interrupt. The comfort crisis.
Yeah, I think there is some room for the macho influencer that's like, oh, you should do something hard every day. It's like, I think there's something to that, because if you don't,
do too.
Life just gets too easy. I'm sure you've heard the quote, hard times create strong men, strong men create good times create weak men create hard times.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be in the phase that's like, things are easy for me, so I'm the weak man. I don't want that. I don't want to be that guy. I know that my grandpa struggled, worked his ass off to make things better. Then I know that my dad worked really hard to make things better. And I don't want to be the cream puff that was like, I don't know, life is super easy, so I'm just a wimpy piece of shit. And then I raise kids that are just like overindulged, spoiled, and then they're even weaker than me, and then they cause problems in their family that make that make their kids, my grandkids, have to be strong. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want any of us to be the cream puffs.
Right.
If things are good, I want to be able to notice it. Go ahead.
Yeah. My favorite, dude, I 100% agree with everything you just said. I have a funny story. My grandpa, I was in college, and for some reason he started pulling out all of these like little portfolios that he had from way back in like the 80s and 70s, probably even the 60s when he was farming. Okay. And he pulled them out, and it was like ledgers of all the money he spent and things like that, and how much things cost. And I'm like, holy cow, that's, the prices are ridiculous. And I asked him this question, and I was in college. I was probably 19 or 20 years old, fresh out of high school. And I said, what were you doing when you were 19 years old? He goes, I was in the Korean War. And I was like, oh, like what I just felt like a huge piece of shit. Right. I was just like,
yeah.
Oh, Jesus, dude. You can't even there's nothing you can say other than, oh, okay, thank you for your service. Like outside of that. Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was crazy times.
Yeah, man. Very true. Well, I'm gonna check out that book, The Comfort Crisis.
Yeah, I need to check that out too. But anything else we got to talk about today? Good conversation.
Yeah, no, I think it's okay to press pause. We've always got stuff, so I think we can pick up next time.
Yep, absolutely. Kyle, really appreciate you as always. Thank you very much for your time. People, do me a huge favor. Go to iTunes, Spotify, wherever you download The Man Therapy or listen to The Man Therapy podcast. Please give us a 5-star review. Also, please go check out the YouTube channel if you want to watch our ugly faces, I guess. I should speak for myself, Kyle. You're very, very handsome.
Hey,
I am not. Yeah,
I think you're the handsome.
I'm gross and ugly.
You're the handsome. I feel.
Go check out the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. I feel like a video like that my kids watch. It's like, hey, smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Things like that. So, all right, good vibes, everybody. Have a good rest of your week, Kyle. We'll talk to you next time.